Hi, I'm Jim Estrin. I'm a staff photographer at the New York Times, and I'm also the co-editor of the Times Lens blog with David Gonzalez. And I'm here today with my colleague and dear friend, Michelle Agins, who has been a staff photographer at the Times for 27 years.
27, yes.
27 years, okay. And we're going to talk about composing photographs, how we think about making photographs when we do, and we're also going to be talking about readers' photos. We did a call out earlier in the week, and so many readers submitted photos, and we'll be discussing some of their photos and commenting on them.
Okay.
So, when I think about composition, I think about, obviously technical excellence, visual virtuosity. A good understanding of visual language is really important. But that's not what photography is about for me.
Yes.
Right? It's
I agree.
It's about having something to say.
And what's said is what comes into what's in your face.
What do you mean?
As I walk into a situation, you have to be open for the moment. And that moment is that picture. And you just take it.
But I think one of the things for me that characterizes your photography is your ability to be so intimate with people wherever you are, people of all kinds.
That's because I'm a person. And if you're not a real person, then you can't get into anybody's skin. And the main thing of my idea is to get into their skin, because their story is so important and so personal that you have to become personal as soon as you can in order for it to work.
Okay. Why don't we look at a few photos? We'll look at a few photos that I took, a few photos that you took, and talk about how we thought about making them and how you compose them. There's people talk about rules or ideas of composition, but I really think that all rules in composition are made to be broken. They're just some suggestions. The strongest composition is the best way to state something that you have to say. But this photo here is a photo I took in Alzheimer's night program at the Hebrew Home for the Aged. And I chose to show this photo because of the layering in the photograph. When I say layering, there's a foreground, a middle ground, and a background. And that's something I like to do a lot in photos, is make more complicated photos. The other element here is light, which is critical for photography. You were saying earlier that our boss, Michelle McNally, says...
You have to find the light, and I say, and then I steal it.
Okay. So always look for the light. So that's why I put these two photos in. This is the Ma'afa ceremony, which is the observance of the millions of people who died in the Middle Passage coming over in slavery. And again, this is a photograph which depends pretty much totally on light. And you have to make sure, you catch the light in the right places.
Right.
So here's another one, which was partially having to do with light, but also having to do with the rule of thirds. So this was, I was in Haiti, and you've been in Haiti.
Yes.
But it was about 4 months after the earthquake, and I was there and it rained the whole time. I had no light.
Right.
There's this quality of light. If you want to photograph, if possible, early in the morning and late in the afternoon. Mm-hmm. Right, and get that golden light. You don't want the middle of the day.
Exactly.
So I got 1 hour late in the afternoon at this camp. But I also thought about putting the line of the dirt on the bottom, not in the middle.
Right.
And thinking of what we call the rule of thirds. So why don't we do this? I'm going to just we'll mention this and then we'll go to some of yours.
Okay.
So this was a matter of moment and light. And also where I was standing. I kept on trying to kneel a little bit. So I think like the strongest compositional tool you have is your feet.
Exactly.
Your ability to move.
Right.
To stand up higher, to kneel down, to move a little left, to move a little right. So now let's switch. I'm going to switch to one of a few of your photos, and then we'll get to the readers' photos, which we're very excited about. I love this photograph. Can you tell me about it? What is it, first off?
It's Easter Sunday, and I heard a couple of my neighbors carrying on about this little girl. She's so cute. And I was just getting ready for work, and I just peeked out the door, and I said, oh, my God, let me catch this picture as this kid's going off to church. And that's all I had was 2 moments. It was done.
What really, for me, what I love about this photo is the way the lines converge, the yellow color, her little hair dress.
Her little bunny ears.
Her little bunny ears, yeah. It's so beautiful. You have so many, maybe we'll get to later, great Easter photos. I really loved this photo. Can you tell me about what it is and also how you took it?
This was a series I'd done on a gay church in Brooklyn, and it's called In the Spirit, and it was a baptism of one of the parishioners, and it was the minister giving the blessing before dipping him this bowl of water on him, himself. So.
But you have this, this decisive moment. So one of the things we look for in photographs
is a decisive moment.
Yeah, is the peak moment,
and basically, if I'm not explaining it, it's because I'm part of it. I'm in that moment. So I'm being baptized in the name of the Father with him. So that's all I can do is just kind of replicate what I'm seeing right before me.
So basically, you're so intimate. You're so much a part of the moment. You don't feel that you're stepping back, is what you're saying?
No, I'm in it.
It's really interesting.
I'm totally in it because I spent weeks at this church, walking around without a camera, just so that everybody would get used to me. And boom, and there it is.
So that peak moment, yes.
We do have some audience questions. You're hearing Madison Mills, Facebook Live producer. Let's see. Rosie Phillips wants to know if you have a recommended editing program for serious photographers or for amateur photographers.
If she means processing, we use Photoshop.
Yes.
But as far as editing, Photo Mechanic is a program that I love. There's many, BridgeWorks. There's others.
Lightrooms.
Lightroom works. I'm a great lover of Photo Mechanic. It's precisely, and it's what we use on Lens for speed. So if that's what she means, that's what I recommend. And would you use Lightroom?
I use Photo Mechanic also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rinku Patel wants to know what cameras you use.
I use the Canon 1DX.
That's what you use? I tend to use the Canon 5D Mark III.
Well, I like the heavier camera because I cover many different assignments. I cover sports, I cover theater, and I need a camera that's really versatile and has a lot of latitude in terms of light. And
also motor drive. So if you shoot sports, you have to shoot that one.
Yeah, but you know what? I hardly ever use my motor drive. Even
really?
It's like it's that seventh sense again. Like I know when Serena's getting ready to serve, and I can almost feel her.
Okay.
So after covering it after so many years, you almost don't push the button like the same way as
It's the camera isn't the critical element. We happen to use Canons a lot, but it doesn't matter. There's specific reasons you might use one, such as the motor drive, but the camera doesn't take the photograph. The photographer takes the photograph. And, no one ever asks what kind of typewriter Hemingway used.
This is true.
It's not the you may need a little element of one camera or the other, but it's not the key.
Great. Going off of that, we have a couple more technical questions.
Yeah, hit us.
Doug Gurnetsky asks, what are the prime lenses that you use?
Do you tend to use zooms or primes?
I
both?
use both.
Okay.
I use the 35-1/4. 1/4, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 35-1/4. I use the 28-70. And I use what's the latest thing? Oh, I love my 100-400. That's
Okay.
I love it when I'm covering concerts.
I do both. I use in Zooms. I'm using a 16-35 now, mainly a 24-70, 70-200. But in primes, and what most of the colleagues I have when they use primes is basically a 24, a 30, a 35, and an 85 are sort of the key kind of, and you would use a prime partially because they're faster lenses. Also, they're slightly better visually as well.
Plus, I like the 50. That's a fabulous lens.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Great. Thank you guys so much. Feel free to continue.
Okay, well, let's talk about one more of Michelle's photos, and we're going to go into Reader's photos. So tell me about this one.
I happened to be at a photo conference, and there was a child's beauty pageant going on, and I challenged all of the students that I talked to that evening to find a photograph with all these kids running around. I said, before the end of the day, I want everybody to bring me a photo. And I said, I'm going to do it with you. And so I happened to run up on this little girl who was 7 years old, and she was part of the beauty pageant. So I asked her mom, can I follow her, to how this whole thing played out. And she let me. And so I went to their room, and this is her getting ready for her routine, and she's doing it for her mom.
But that's amazing. In just those 5 minutes, you were able to get them to agree and get them to feel comfortable. I'm going to, this is a James Baldwin photo, who was a friend of yours. I'm going to switch over to Readers.
Okay, yes, let's do that.
Okay, so, okay.
While you're pulling that up, we have one more audience question.
Yes.
Stephen Dunn wants to know, when taking pictures such as the baptism, how do you make sure you don't interfere or become too intrusive?
Just like I explained, I spent a lot of time, I kind of became part of the congregation for that moment, because I was preparing for that moment. So when you're doing a photo essay and you know you're going to be in a place where it's sensitive and you have to be respectful of the place itself, you kind of stake it out. You might not use your camera at all for a week or two. You might just be there. So, and that's what I was. I just waited for that moment.
When people feel comfortable with you, when they, you essentially disappear.
Yeah.
Is what it comes down to.
Right.
And not everyone is, some people are better at that than other people, but it's a matter of people feeling you.
Yeah. And you have to, for the first week, you have to say, I'm not here, forget me. I'm just here.
Right.
Forget it. I look just like you. I'm just another person. You don't see a camera, don't ask me.